I'll tell you what I want to do. Well, since we mentioned Mad Lions, we only briefly touched on them, but I've got a few angles here. One, like I said last week, mate, the way the fucking meta has hit Unforgiven in the face with his like Draven picks is ridiculous, mate. Like, there's another game where he was like 2-0 up like 3 minutes in the game or something. Like, it's just a joke. And if you look how they're drafting, mate, it's a fucking godsend that you give the Mad Lions guys this fucking Draven player. Because, mate, these comps are making her awesome. It's just got all these comps that just catch shit and just give Draven free kills all day. Like, I would be loving the way they're playing around him, mate. He must be fucking loving that team. They're easily the best early game team. That goes out saying, right? Like, I think they're the only Western team right now, just in terms of that aspect, who have any chance against the fucking Asians, mate. LPL is going to eat the LEC alive.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. I mean, the Mad Lions team, I think that they're really hard to draft against right now, because when you look at like all the picks that they play, you can't really give him Zeri. Like, Zeri is one of the most OP champions, and Unforgiven looks like he's just on his game, so you can't give him Zeri. You cannot by any means give them Talia, because that is Nisky's fucking champion right there.
Mate. Yeah.
Don't fuck with Nisky's Talia.
Almost has been as well. Signature, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that just fits right. Like, when you think about Nisky as a player, he's the thing that makes him so great now and makes him one of the best players in all of LEC. In my opinion, let me just throw this out there. Full disclosure, I think he's the MVP of the league. I think this, like, if regular season, think about how much influence this guy has had. This was not a playoff team. He joined it. They're the best team by far. You know, like, that is just fucking crazy levels of value that he's had for this team. Even just the way that he plays the map is just fucking, it's beautiful to watch. I mean, part of the reason why you see Mad Lions going for all these early dives is because of the fact that he's moving. That is the crucial part. It's not the jungler coming to the dives. It's the fact that the jungle and the fucking mid laner are both coming. That's what makes it going from like a, ooh, can we dive this, to like, no, the person's 100% dead unless you react to it. That's number one. But I mean, just to wheel it back, you can't give him Talia, right? So then you also now need to ban Draven against Unforgiven as well. So if you're on red side, those are your bans. Like, you know, I mean, we'll see. Maybe 12, 14 changes that we get a new patch. So maybe things will change. And I mean, I've heard it's 12, 14. I don't know if it's been officially announced yet. But on the new patch, maybe they have the opportunity to leave some more things open. Maybe something changes. Maybe there's more OP champions. So you almost get that red side solution where there's so many OP champions that you can just like leave them all up. You don't even have the disadvantage of being red side anymore. But right now, I just feel like you're so restricted when you play against Mad, because not only can they play all the other picks. I mean, Nisky Lissandra, that fucking works perfectly for him. I can see him playing, you know, any of the other meta champions right now. Even if he had to play a Zyra, I don't expect that he would just be worthless on that pick or getting outclassed. And you don't get to actually like have any unique strategy because they just lock you out in those ban phases. It's like, oh, we have to ban Draven, Zeri, Talia every single time. And then, you know, everyone else is going to get their best champions. That's the problem, is then Elyoya can play whatever he wants. Armut, who's one of the players that you should be able to target with bans, can play literally any champion in the game because you can't waste bans on him or you auto lose because of the other picks. So I feel like Mad Lions right now are super scary for that reason. No one else feels like they have that type of command over pick and ban phase where you're like, well, we can't give him this. Like we saw what happened last time he got like Draven. Like, we can't give that shit to him again. Okay, well, what about all the other picks? So they're in that spot where, because they've done so well with those picks, they've now like commanded the respect where you can't even conceive of giving them some of these champions. And
well, no, they're back in Draft Kingdom for the coaches for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously you could even throw in, you didn't even have to mention him, but Elyoya's out there. Like, you can't just give him any fucking jungle pick. Yeah, oh, it's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare scenario for anyone trying to get draft against them. Especially, I'd even throw this out there. Obviously, historically, if this was just a random team, you could maybe have Armor champion pool issues. But as you said, A, you're not wasting bans on him, and then B, I'll point this out as well. I'll tell you what a fucking perfect pick-me-up if your top laner has any weakness at all is. How about just have the fucking support and mid-roam top and just gank a whole bunch of times? Like, you can just fix lanes that matchups aren't even supposed to win out. Like, you can just figure out what... And you've already got the best early game in the league. Like... Mate, we can fix these problems. These are called like good problems to have, mate. They just essentially encourage our team to work as a team to cover the whole. Yeah. So yeah, right now there's no reason at all you wouldn't have them number one. And also look at the week they've just had. On paper, spiritually, sure, some of it was stand-ins, like you say, for Rogue. But before last week began, on paper, the best three teams in the LEC were supposed to be Mad Lions, XL, Rogue. They just beat Rogue and XL this last week, guys. They just actually handled those two teams. And right now, there is no team that looked like they would win against Mad Lions. Lions. There's teams who would, obviously, but if I told you just match up right now a team from LEC to have a chance to win against Mad Lions, the only factors you can even do is playoff shit like intangible. You can't, if you just go a fight test, nobody matches up with them. They win the LEC outright. That's why I also get mildly tilted, by the way, by this whole angle that everyone in Mad Lions has to take when they praise Nisky in the swap. They always have to mention, like, but it wasn't Rika's fault. Rika was fine. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Maybe he was fine for the RLs, or he would be fine if he was on BDS. He obviously wasn't fine on your team. And yes, it's not. By the way, it wasn't that he just left and then Nisky just does all the same things a little bit. Nisky is night and day different player. Like, the joke is, I know they're just doing that to be nice to the guy because they hope he has a career again. But like, you've fucked that narrative. He absolutely wasn't good enough, and he clearly didn't do anything for your team that you needed. So, miss that. But anyway, what do you think in general?
I mean, so here's the thing. So they play. So. They beat Fnatic and XL last week. They play Rogue this next week. I think that's a game where it's like the only way that you can conceive of beating Mad right now is you have to hope that they fuck up something later on in the game and you're able to beat them like that. That's the part of their game they've looked inconsistent on. They don't close out games super well. But that's a horrible way to go into a game when you're like prepping for it. Like, just wait for the throw, guys.
Yes.
Oh, what happened? Oh, they didn't throw? Oh, I guess we just fucking automatically lose then. Like that is the way that you go about having to deal with them. So I don't know. I mean, I think in general, this team is like, they look like by far the scariest team. And the thing is
that even completes the old joke, right? That they're so good, they're also, it's only they can beat themselves. It really is just like that, isn't it? Like they have to essentially just give you the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they are beatable in ways, but I'm thinking of like through the context of LEC, right? Like I'm sure that if you took a top tier like LPL team, they'd be like, wait, but you can give them Draven. Like you don't, but what other players are you going to really want them to play a Draven game like against you if you're fighting for a playoff spot? Do you want another game where Unforgiven just has like 13,000 gold, 6 items at fucking 22 minutes into the game, and then you're sitting there like scaling with Zeri or something? You're like, oh, but guys, like, don't worry, like we'll outscale him eventually. Do you want to put yourself in that position? I don't know. I just feel like there's just not good angles, and they actually look like one of the teams that improves week to week. Like the other teams, you don't really know. And the reason why I said that I thought that Vitality was looking like one of the more consistent teams.
Them Nexus, do it.
Well, it's because at least those teams are trending upwards. Like you see Vitality, it's like, okay, you were kind of bad at the beginning. You could only beat the bad teams and you like would lose to all the good teams. And then you started like being able to like kind of beat them. And now it looks like you're actually like upgrading yourself a little bit. Okay, you kind of manhandled G2. Like G2 kind of got fucked by Vitality. I mean, Perks was what, like 10-0, 9-0 or something at the end of that game?
Yeah.
So at least you can see some type of like, you see like they're building upon what they already know. Mad Lions is doing that too. And the other teams don't look like there's any progression, right? Like Fnatic fans are so fucking desperate for a win that when they beat BDS, they're like tweeting about, oh, this is such a big win for our organization. If your organization is getting off to a BDS win, like, you know, things are in the fucking dumps. Like you're a team
that's already eliminated from world contention, by the way, already.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, they should be eliminated from world contention next year too. Like, fuck it. Like at this point, like just put them in, relegate them. I don't even care if it doesn't exist anymore. Relegate them anyways. Like I'm tired of watching BDS play. They're the most disappointing team. But yeah, I mean, that's the main problem is Mad Lions is improving. Vitality is improving. The other teams look like they're good or bad based on the week. Like there's no consistency. You don't really notice anything that they start doing super well in that week. And then the next week they can do that and also do something else. It's like they learn one concept, forget another. You don't really know where the teams are going. So that's the main thing about Mad Lions, that it actually looks like they are improving upon what they already know.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.